So serif or multi-serif is something that, as a web designer, especially as a designer for news sites, is a battle I fight every day. Actually, you might notice I write the whole thing here in serif, and we use serif on our own page, and we use also serif for our newspapers. And whenever we do that, whenever we introduce a serif font for a newspaper, it's always the same thing. It's a massive, massive revolution among readers. Most of the bad actors, mostly the hacker style, they all try really hard to, to destroy that serif. They pull out all research and they write long letters to the editor, how wrong it is, they don't use the serif. It's not scientific, it's not nice, it hurts my eyes, it hurts everybody's eyes. Your newspaper is going to go down if you continue to use that serif. And of course, if you look at actual research, you can prove that from 12 pixel on, there's no difference in readability. It's pretty much the same thing. And actually for printed books, it's pretty much the same thing. Only people feel like, yeah, but printed books in some settings, maybe not new designs, but my mother, my grandma, when she sees, Ruder or anything secondary, it's not a real book. You can't take that seriously. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. So it's an emotional matter, and it's also political. Because if you look through the history of writing, of course, few people know about these things, but it's in our DNA. It's in the very, in the very delicate ends of our thought. That there's an emotional difference between serif and sans. Now we always do the same thing. We convince our newspaper editors to use serif for their article and to use sans serif for the discussion. And actually, if you look at the numbers, how those websites developed so far, we had a good time. If you look at other examples online, you can see that game as well. Of course, one of the most religious brands. These guys try to make something that competes with God in their own world. Of course, Google itself is in sans serif. The rest is serif. The rest is sans serif because that's where we work. It's a matter of belief, and some say no, we don't use any serifs because we're a brand of the people, which in this case I'd say is kind of an evil trick. That works. Interesting enough, we haven't had a dictionary that was read by the people that write it. Now we have, and they use serif for their logo. Yeah, maybe we believe what we write a little bit more. It has a nice, complicated brand. No serif is a statement, and as a matter of fact, there is, this is probably the closest you get to representative democracy. Not everyone is equal here, of course. If you have 30,000 followers, you're like a mayor or something. It's a mayor in Thailand. You're like a Singapore, right? And if you have 100,000, you're a senator, and if you have a million, you're sort of a president, of a little country within Twitter. So it's representative democracy, and there's not a simple serif here, as far as I can say. Sans serif is a statement. It's interesting, he uses some there. He uses it here, maybe just an accident because Wikipedia looks like that. But it does change the perception of Wikipedia. You have this evil hacker imagery, and then you use a serif with it. That's pretty badass. That's also what it tries to do on badass. So, it looks like we're in a movement since Karl the Great where things become more democratic. And if you look at the development of democracy also in the late couple of years, we're making progress. If we say that democracy is progress, and I do believe so. But don't be fooled. There are the priests. The power is patient and they never give up. These priests here, frame, you know, paywalls. You have corporations that know how the internet works and start astroturfing the shit out of it. It was really shocking to see how active, for instance, the atomic lobby is on Wikipedia and in comment sections of newspapers. They're really, really out there trying, you know, to gain power back. You have political firewalls popping up everywhere. In Italy, in France, in Germany, they introduce a ridiculous law, or they try to introduce a ridiculous law where they say you need age verification on your website, and if that age verification is wrong, it's going to cost 150,000 euro. And then you say, okay, so I put over 18, fuck it. No, if you do that, then you can only run your website between 7 in the evening and 4 in the morning. So basically, they just tried to shut down all the blogs because newspapers didn't have that kind of switch. It didn't really work, but it's, you know, it's a proposition in the law. We have nasty stuff going on down in Australia. This is an old graphic, so yeah, these recently are releasing. Great Britain, local nastiness going on, and in Japan as well, they have a law now that they pass behind the scenes to make sure there's no misinformation about what's happening in Fukushima. It's actually a law that should hurt themselves, but you know why business. So it's not just, you know, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and China. It's also the Western priests that are, you know, which are mostly corporate priests, you know, priests of money. To capitalism. Let's not forget it's an ism, right? It's not the truth. I try to, you know, keep things as they are. And I mean, the whole copyright bullshit, which is just a massive headache for anyone that wants to build something on the internet. You know, we have a lot of power now, not only just to read and write and publish. What we want, we also have the freedom to build whatever we want, but you know, the copyright trolls and copyright assholes, they try to get in between. Like, no, you can't make a one-click buy button that belongs to Amazon. They invented that. Facebook invented the news stream. So technically, you can't have a news stream. It's their invention. Bullshit. And yeah, all these publishing rights protect children. Always when, you know, the government argues with children or sex or both, you know, they're up to something really evil there. And the question is how we have that. Let's see. We have the old medium over, you know, a couple of years. If you think back from the beginning of the 90s, where the internet was still pretty much like a military invention, we have it. And we made this because what the internet was in the 90s, we tried this medium. A lot of the information on there, a lot of the curation of what information is important. That's what we do. And we are this medium. Like if you look at people on the street, you know, there's almost no more people. It's just the medium that is left. And it will continue to be here, so that's fair enough. We will continue to drive it, of course. We're not going to stop doing whatever we do, no matter how bad they say it is. And of course, it's not just all fantastic. We need some ethic to deal with this. Like whenever I go to a dinner and then my partner always looks at his cell phone and smacks me. That's not my purpose. And we will continue to make it, and that's the most important part. So power is patient. Power never gives up, but it's slow. And since we have so much opportunities and so much possibilities to build stuff, that's the only way we can beat them. We just build new stuff. We just build new stuff they haven't thought about. And that's constantly happening. Mostly it's hackers that build torrent and so on. And it seems like very, 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 very hard to stop unless you have a totalitarian dictatorial states that start shooting people that build stuff. I hope it's not happening. You can see what happens with totalitarian states where there's some form of the internet. Actually, they get repeating themselves. So we'll continue to hack. And how? Some things are not designed, some things are badly designed, and some things are designed, and we should try to hack them and design them better. This is the example for writing for always 10, and I quickly want to show you a video.
To fall in love with